All right, now we're going to look at piecewise functions, and this seems to be some trouble. So I'm going to try to walk you through it as slowly as possible, and then you can always rewind and look at it again. So look there at number 3. You have the equation and the limitations. There's 2 other words, and I'll think of it as we go. So first, let's look at the first equation first, the top equation. It says negative x minus 3. So you have to graph that. And this is what we were looking at earlier today in class. It's in the form of slope-intercept. Whoops. So you have to find the intercept first. Hello, Kimberly. And put a point there. And then, that was Curtis imitating Superman. The blur. So from that first point, the slope is negative 1. So you would go down 1 and to the right 1. You always run to the right. But if the slope is negative, you drop. If the slope is positive, you go up. So let me show you how that looks on here. If you can see it. There we go. Okay, so first I looked at the y-intercept, which is negative 3. And I put a point there. Then the slope is negative 1. So I go down 1, over 1, and connect those 2 points to be a line. The whole line is not going to be used. If you look at the limitations, it says if x is less than 1. So you find 1 on the x-axis, which happens to be our second point, and the graph, since it's not equal to, it will have an open circle, and it is less than 1, so it's going to graph to the left. You're going to shade to the left. Hopefully you're actually doing this. If you haven't started doing this, pause the video right now, get some graph paper, mark you out a coordinate plane, and do this with me. Alright? Kids are getting ready for bed. Just ignore all the, looks like a big town running on behind me. Alright, here you go. So, I know it doesn't look like an open circle, but we're going to assume that that's an open circle. And then it says less than 1. So, numbers that are less than 1 go this way. So you shade to the left, not to the right, because that's less than 1. Now let's look at the second equation. 2x minus 6. The y-intercept is negative 6. So you start there on the y-axis. You go down 6, and put a point there. Okay, there's my point at negative 6. The slope is 2 over 1. Remember in class today we talked about rise over run. Even if there's just a number in front, like the number 2, there's still a run. It's implied to be 1. So the slope is 2 over 1. So from our first point of negative 6, I run up because it's positive, and right because we always run to the right. So you go up 2 because it's rise over run. You go up 2 over 1, and it happens to intersect with the point that we already had. The limitations on this line is positive. X is greater than 1. Wait for that light to adjust. So the graph is going to include everything on the x-axis that's greater than 1, this direction, or to the right. And it's filled in because it's greater than or equal to, and I shade my line toward the right, which is on the x-axis greater than 1. So my graph looks like this. Only look at the dark lines, not the light lines. It happens to be that that one point is the same point for both lines, and it's filled in because our second line is greater than or equal to, and our first line was less than. So the two end up overlapping at that point. It's not always going to do that. Hopefully you followed that. If not, go back and look at it again. For number 3, you're done. That's all you do.